Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association to Cannacast. I am Ida Pearlie, the host.
And I'm Isaiah Roberts, the deputy director.
You are the deputy director?
Role reversal. I'm the development director, and the D's got me today. Still rusty.
Well, it's been a minute since we've been on the air. I mean, goodness, it's well before December, right? Yeah. It's March now.
Back in effect. Still a little rusty.
Yeah. So today with us, we have Patrick Frakes from Rair.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic and super excited to be here.
Well, we're glad you came out. You fared the weather and didn't melt.
No. Can't wait for spring to finally arrive.
Right. Absolutely.
They're making us wait for it.
Right.
Let's test our patience. And so we're going to roll into April, just still same low 40s, but hey.
Yeah.
I heard, though, it got up to 72 the other day.
Right. But you were in Jamaica. So.
I was in Jamaica.
And say 72 to 82 don't mean much.
Well, I'm still counting, hoping on that we get a warmer hash bash this year. So
I hope
keep our fingers crossed. I don't know what the weather forecast is, but the last few have been a little too cold for me. So.
This will be my first in-person hash
Nice.
bash. Yeah, I'm so excited to go.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I haven't been in person since maybe 2018 or 19. So.
No, 19 it was canceled because of COVID. Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
The COVID hit in 2020.
No, well, we canceled it for 19 though.
Oh,
Or
gotcha.
no. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm getting my dates mixed up.
Seems like forever.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's just get back in the roll of things, you know?
No kidding.
Goodness. So, Patrick, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into cannabis?
Sure. Well, I have been, for most of my adult life, a user of cannabis. Both my father and my brother were pretty professional drinkers.
Okay.
And as I was getting out of college, I was bartending and drinking a lot myself, and said, really had a very big moment in my life where I said, I'm not going to become an alcoholic, and I have to choose my vice, knowing my family had a long history of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And so, cannabis had always been something I had used more recreationally. And as I was becoming an adult and dealing with the stresses and the anxiety of the adult life, I really found that cannabis was much more of a medicinal benefit to me than it was, as I first started using it as just a party, thing. And so, I really became a believer, and I got married, had 3 wonderful children, and worked, at one point I had 3 full-time jobs.
Oh, wow.
And cannabis really helped me deal with the stress and anxiety of my responsibilities and helped me calm down at the end of the day. And really found that medicinal benefit to cannabis through my late 20s, early 30s. And, my wife was a school teacher, special ed teacher, and then, subsequently on the school board. And she used to say, are you ever going to stop smoking pot? And I said, well, I don't think I am. I really see that, it has more of a real benefit towards my quality of life. And, it never affected my marriage, my ability as a parent or as a business person. And so it really validated that cannabis is something that should be more mainstream.
Right.
And when legalization started to move away from the West Coast and the Midwest, I really found a longing to get into the space.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had created about 3 different businesses over my adult life, and found that I was pretty good at business management and understood how to run operations. And I had a friend of mine who was a real estate developer, and knowing that, there was no bank loans to get into the cannabis space, I went and partnered with Kevin McFadden, and he was immediately excited about the prospect about doing this and understood the benefits of it. And we began to build this team for Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. When you started using cannabis, was it like traditional flower that opened you up to the experience?
Yes. I've always been a flower guy. I'm still a flower guy.
Still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll use a vape cart when I'm trying to be discreet, but I'm old school flower guy for sure. I would have dabbed and will, but I'm shocked at how high I get, and I'm shocked that people can do it on the regular for sure, because it just knocks my socks off for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It builds like a requirement of high productivity if you can adapt throughout the day. It's
Oh, yeah.
something that I try to be sometimes, and days in and day out I have, roller coasters. So
Yeah.
sometimes that right product will knock me out. But,
Yeah.
it's for me, it was like really cool to see, because similar to you, I started out using flower, and then over time just seeing how functional edibles were, like how they helped me sleep and everything. And I think concentrates, that really just helps me like alleviate anxiety, I think, the quickest in a way.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think just the time and it takes for me to really feel flowers. Sometimes it's like it takes a little bit too long, and I need to stay productive, and
Right.
concentrate gives me that opportunity to like spend 5 or 10 minutes and keep going.
Yeah, no, that's one of the more unique things about cannabis. Your tolerance can really change, and before legalization, I used to get the same strain all the time, and you really build up almost,
Mm-hmm.
you're not feeling it anymore. You're almost not getting high if you just keep using the same strain over and over again. And that's when one of the more fascinating things about being in the business and changing it up, and using different terpene profiles, different, mixtures of strains. But for the record, I will go on and say that at Rair, we don't really believe in sativa and indica terminology anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you've ever noticed our packaging, we don't have indica or sativa on there anywhere. It's all about terpene profiles and effects
Mm-hmm.
of that particular strain, because Ashley Hubbard, our director of cultivation, who was a commercial grower in Colorado before we brought her here, she's got her master's in plant population genetics. And she's the one who told me first, she said, everything out there is a hybrid.
It is.
So there's no more indica and sativas really, unless you're going and really trying to grow one of those specific strains. And a lot of times finding those true, leaning strains towards indica or sativa are really hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So we based all of our strain selections on terpene profiles and effects.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We think that's where the industry needs to go, because I think the indica and sativa thing, it's sort of a misnomer, and
It
people
is.
go in there
Yeah.
saying, I want to go to sleep, give me an indica, or I need some energy, give me a sativa.
Right. And it's understanding that it's not just the name. There's
Right.
so much more involved. That's why
Mhm.
education is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Over time, when Rair first launched, what would you say was your favorite strain, and how has that evolved now? Like, would you say that still is something you gravitate towards, or something else has your attention right now?
No, believe it or not, my first favorite strain is still my favorite, and that is sour banana sherbet.
Mm.
And the reason why, one, the terpene profiles. So
Mhm.
it's got limonene and pinene, a really equal amount. They're both very dominant terpenes in that. And so it's got a real citrusy flavor. And, I always talk about it. You can taste it, you can smell it, you can even taste it when you exhale.
Right.
You're still tasting those terpenes. But then secondly, it's a relaxing high, but not a sleepy high. So I've found it's something that really helps when you have to go work outside or something. You still have energy. It allows you to focus
Mhm.
on your task at hand. So, that's one of the effects that's on the label. It says focused,
Nice.
yet relaxing, but without making you in the couch.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I love sour banana sherbet. I love a lot of the new strains that we're coming out with now. But I think it's, maybe I'm one of those old school guys where I like what I like, I
Right.
know what I like. So, but I love citrusy terpene profiles and pine terpene profiles.
Nice. And available at all Rair retail locations, right? And
Yep.
how
So-
many do you have? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That was my question.
No, so we have 4 open now, with number 5 opening up on 4/20. We're open in Bay City, Muskegon, Lowell, and Big Rapids.
Okay.
And then Kalamazoo is opening up on 4/20. And we're really excited about that. We're opening up across the street from a Chick-fil-A.
Yay!
So
You got to work
Major
something out there. Come on.
never a bad place to be with the way their drive-throughs work. So
Right.
we're really excited about that, and just excited about being a part of that community. I think Kalamazoo is really doing a lot of things nice now on the rebuilding of the city, and they've got a lot of development projects involved. And it really seems like even when we first secured the location 2 years ago, the city has really improved a lot. So we're excited to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Western, so I'm partial to Kalamazoo.
There you go.
It's interesting being across the street from a Chick-fil-A, because now you can even push more that you're open on Sundays.
Right.
So you can take that traffic.
There you go.
Exactly.
Absolutely. No, we're really excited about it. And we have our first store that we actually are having an artist from the area that is painting a mural inside the store,
Awesome.
sort of like a Kalamazoo kind of mural with Rair. Also, it's a little bit abstract, but it's also really cool. You can see that it says Kalamazoo and Rair in there.
Oh,
That's
super
really
cool.
neat.
Yeah, so we're
I
really
love the community involvement.
Yeah, we're excited
Yeah.
about it and can't wait. So that'll be store number 5 for us.
Okay. Now you have aeroponics store or facilities.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So aeroponics is means we use no soil.
Okay.
So no dirt ever enters our facility. And really everybody that's been to our building, which we hope you guys will come down at some
We
point
need
soon,
to, yes.
they've said this is the cleanest grow facility they've ever been in. And that's a tribute to Ashley and her demand for biosecurity. But also, by not bringing dirt into the building, you reduce 70% of your potential contaminants that can get into cannabis. And that's really what drove us to go with aeroponics. I was lucky enough to have a friend who was growing commercially in Washington State and one of
Okay.
the only aeroponic facilities in that state.
Oh, wow.
So one of the first grows I ever toured when I was dreaming about getting in the business was an aeroponic facility.
Okay.
So I learned about it. It's actually how I met Ashley,
Mm.
and that I feel was a really serendipitous moment. I was interviewing a lot of head growers, and they were very much the peacock. I don't know if you've heard the peacock analogy, bragging and spreading their feathers about how great they are. And it was comical. I had one that said he would come to work for us if I'd give him $24,000 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Starting a year before we opened.
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
thinking to myself, wow, I want your job.
Right.
But I connected with Ashley because she was willing to take a meeting, just thinking about getting out of work one day at Strainwise in Colorado. And she said, I'll go take the meeting. And so I was asking about growers at the same time she was coming to the meeting. And he's like, this guy said, Ashley Hubbard is a great grower. I just met her.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm very thankful. So I just cold called Ashley one day and got her on board. But we researched it together and really kind of formulated a plan using what we call low pressure aeroponics, which means it's a mist. We have like 271 misters under each table.
Okay.
And so the mist is composed of water and nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
And so, different strains have different cycles about how much water they need and how much time they need without the water. So very different from hydroponics or deep water culture. We can tailor it towards the specific strain. And Ashley, she is next level grower. I'm really proud of her. But she is taking leaf samples and sending them to labs. So we're getting nutrient uptake information.
Oh, wow.
So it's really next level on the growing.
Right.
But it was mostly about thinking about cleaner cannabis.
Okay.
When you flush at the end of the grow cycle, you're flushing all the nutrients out.
Mm-hmm.
This allows for a much better flush than a traditional grow. No offense to traditional growing in pots and, Grodan and any of that stuff. I'm very adamant to say, I'm not saying aeroponics is the best way to grow cannabis. It's just a very good opportunity to have cleaner cannabis. And again, I've been a smoker most of my adult life. So, I've had a lot of strains that made me cough a lot. And
Right.
you can taste that heaviness and the carcinogens that are in there. And that's what everybody says about Rair flower. And they say, it's a smoother hit, you cough less.
Okay.
And that definitely is something that we pride ourselves on. And I think that is the main reason why we chose aeroponics. And plus, it's a cool story.
Well, it's
Yeah.
really innovative. Yeah.
It is
I mean,
innovative. And it's where NASA started. They really started aeroponics because they were trying to grow vegetables in space.
Okay.
Limited resources
Right.
and limited space. So, we were fascinated by that. And I really think it's going to probably become more commonplace in the future with indoor growing, not just of cannabis, but of
Okay.
all different types of fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
With a controlled environment, and that's what aeroponics requires.
Okay.
You really have to spend a lot of money on your controls. And I think that's really the main reason why more people don't grow aeroponically. I'm very proud of Kevin being willing to spend that money to build the facility and the environmental controls necessary. Because the negative side of aeroponics is if you don't have those controls in place, because the roots are exposed, they have no buffer.
When you say controls, what do you mean exactly?
Basically, you have to make sure your humidity and your air temperature and your water temperature are perfect.
Okay.
You want them to be within 1 degree of your ideal of what you're trying to accomplish there. And even with the lights, with the LEDs, we use Fluence LEDs. But getting that PAR meter and that photosynthetic effect, when your roots are exposed and gaining all this oxygen that they don't get when they're in pots, it's a funner way for the plant to grow, I think. And I use the analogy, it's like they're living in San Diego all the time. So the weather's always perfect for them.
Right.
But if you have something that fails, and thankfully, knock on wood, we haven't had this happen yet, the plant is completely exposed. And so it's not going to survive if there's any type of stressor that's caused to it. So, that's where traditional growing, and certainly growing outdoors, the plants were used to knowing, hey, the weather's not going to always be perfect.
Right.
So this is definitely a different ball game.
Okay.
But it allows, one of the benefits as a grower and as a business operation is it actually speeds up the process.
Oh.
So we do harvest. We have about 5 1/4 harvest per year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're able to flip those rooms quickly.
Wow.
The veg cycle is much quicker.
What's the difference?
The plants grow faster because of the oxygen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they become, it starts as a little clipping, in a clone. And our veg cycle basically is about 21 days total. And half of that is spent in our cloners. So when we move them to the flower rooms, they're only getting about 10 days on the veg cycle. And then we're turning the lights on that 12-12 cycle.
Wow.
And so they're going into flowering mode right then. So it does allow us to get pretty much, I guess you'd say like 1.2 extra harvest per room per year.
Okay.
Which obviously is good for your business.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And you guys started with aeroponics right from the jump.
Yep.
What came online first, the grow or the dispensaries?
The grow.
The grow. Okay.
Yeah. And that was really, by design. We felt that, with Michigan obviously emerging as a market at that point, there was going to be a lot of people needing product. And those were back in the days when everybody was paying whatever they had to pay to get cannabis. I wish those days were back now. But, and we were one of the first, we had flower for people. And opening up retail locations has been challenging because, as you guys know, so many municipalities still have opted out.
Right.
But we knew that those would be there and we'd have our opportunities as we evolve. But if you've got production rights and you've got flower and you've got concentrates and vape carts and edibles, you're going to be able to kind of control your supply chain. Right. Which we thought was really important.
That is really important, especially transitioning into curbside.
Right.
How was that for you to transition into that?
Well, we opened up our first store in September of 2020.
Yeah.
And so COVID was in full effect at that point.
Okay.
And, it really slowed down our first store opening. We wanted to be open before adult use started. We wanted to open up as medical. First, Michigan decided to ramp up the adult use program.
A little quicker.
Yeah, a little quicker. Really a year ahead than we expected, which is great. And obviously, we wanted to be a part of the adult use program, so it is what it is.
Right.
But then we were really frustrated that COVID shut down our construction. So while they were saying cannabis business were deemed essential, construction and local permitting offices, they were shut down.
Right.
And so we really had to fight to even allow construction to start back at our store. So that was frustrating very much and something nobody's ever experienced before.
No, exactly.
So that was crazy.
You're breaking the mold on that one.
Exactly.
Goodness.
But yeah, so we opened up with a lot of curbside. And, when we opened our second store in Muskegon in February of 21, that was when people were thinking we were out of it,
Oh,
and
yes,
so
yes.
there was a little bit of in-store traffic going on then, and then it really has been a combination ever since.
Okay.
But we offer curbside at all of our stores.
Okay.
A lot of people do choose to come in. We have definitely designed our stores to be a very welcoming environment and different than other provisioning centers. And I felt that too. You know, I'm not going to name any names, but I would go into stores, some of the early stores that were here in Michigan, and I would really feel like I was being pushed out the door,
Oh, okay.
you know, and just really, they were just trying to turn them and burn them.
Right.
And, you know, we knew that with the emergence of the adult use program, that there was a lot of people that were new to cannabis,
Mhm.
people that wanted to try it, but had never understood it before, had a lot of questions. And so Molly McFadden, our director of retail operations, she's great at the customer service side of it.
Mhm.
And she was one of the real advocates for saying, I want to have a one-on-one interaction between our guides. We don't call them bud tenders, we call them guides.
Okay.
And have a one-on-one interaction with the people. So if they want to turn it and burn it, we can get them in and out of there. But if they have questions and they want to learn about the different products and
Mhm.
how you need to understand edibles is a big thing.
It's so important. And
Right.
it's so important to feel that comfort when you're walking into a dispensary because it is so new for so many people and they already have that trepidation just walking in. So to know that they're going to be able, you know, to get their questions answered and somewhat privately,
Right.
you know, I mean, it's confidential. You're not blasting it all over.
Yeah, and we do have a room there if people want to sit down and really just go through this and basically have a 30-minute interaction. We will provide that time for them. And we love that. We really do. And I think it's super important for people that are new to cannabis to understand what, you know, go low, start slow, the expression, start
Right,
slow,
right.
go low.
Right.
But, you know, the edibles, you hear so many people, I'm sure each one of us has that
A
story.
different story. Yeah.
They took one, didn't feel anything, took another, and then they were falling all over the place. And so they
Right.
don't want to take edibles anymore.
Right.
Whereas, you know, Isaiah said for himself, and I feel the same way, it's really helped me sleep,
Mhm.
you know, and that's something that I didn't use edibles. I was, again, just a flower guy. But now, since legalization and since getting into the business, I've incorporated edibles. And my wife, too.
Mhm.
She was an anti-cannabis person for most of her life, but she had restless leg syndrome,
Okay.
heebie-jeebies with her feet at
Right.
night. And the edibles has really helped get rid of that
Okay.
almost completely.
You have a personal story too to share about cannabis. Do you
Yes.
mind to share that?
Yes, no, I don't mind. My father in 2012 was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Mhm.
He was, you know, 78 when he got diagnosed. And my sister and I both used cannabis already, and we were both trying to convince my dad to at least take edibles to help him with his appetite. And really, especially in the last month of his life, he was not able to take any food down.
Oh goodness.
And the last month when he was in hospice and I was there dealing with him, helping out with the nurse on a daily basis, was not a good experience. I
Mhm.
love my dad so much, but that last month was a painful time in my life.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, my mom was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and lymphoma and lung cancer all at
Oh
once.
my goodness.
And, you know, they said she's got less than a year to live. But my mom was willing to take edibles. And what was so impactful for me was that in that last month of her life, when she was really going downhill, she was still giggly.
Mhm.
She was still able to spend time with her grandchildren. And even the last day before she passed away, you know, she put on a Wonder Woman costume and we all took family pictures and we knew it was close. But she was completely communicative and she was herself. She was still herself, where my dad, unfortunately, was not himself for the
Right.
last month of his life.
Well, it's wonderful too to witness a quality of life towards the end
Right.
that she was able to experience.
And you know, that obviously we know the stories about people that have had cancer, that have had it really help, you know, bring them back to health. But I think both things are true, and there's not, you know, one way or the other. Even if somebody is terminal,
Mhm.
you know, it's something that can really change that moment. That's a traumatic moment for every family member to go through.
Right.
And I think it was completely personal and very impactful for my life. And you know, I did say, really, my mom passed away in May of 2015, and it was actually silly to say the night Trump got elected, when Massachusetts and Florida both, you know, approved cannabis programs.
Okay.
And that's when I said to my wife, I said, look, I'm I'm going to either regret not getting into the business or I'm going to do it now because this is happening. That's when it really made a big statement to me that more states were coming on board and recognizing this. And it wasn't just the wild, wild west of Colorado and California. So I said, honey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to devote the rest of my business career to cannabis. I think it is, really something that the stigma has to go away because, I'm a firm believer that alcohol, while it's accepted everywhere, is much more damaging to our communities and to our own bodies.
Exactly.
So, I think cannabis is an opportunity to really help people improve their lives and maybe save their lives, and liver damage from all the alcohol abuse that is so commonplace in America.
Exactly. Yeah.
With, all that. So
thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
No, thank you, because that was really impactful. Now, what does your daily consumption look like? Are you a wake and bake type person? Do you like to, light one up at lunch, or is it like a nighttime aid? Or you're able to work in and out of, joint to joint?
Well, the funny thing is now I'm smoking less than I ever have. Isn't that right? And I never expected that, and I still am smoking, but one of the reasons why, just to go back to a personal story, last year I was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma through a car accident. I had an incidental finding. And so that was stage 1 cancer.
Can you tell us what that is?
It's kidney cancer.
Kidney cancer.
Yeah. So I had a tumor on my kidney, and I am very blessed. Somebody was looking out for me. So they found it through a car accident that I was in last summer. But when I had the tumor removed, I couldn't smoke for about 6 weeks because they were saying coughing is a really danger for, the incisions that were in my stomach. I had a robotic machine called the Da Vinci device that had 7 arms that went in and removed this tumor. So the guy, the surgeon, the doctor was basically using a joystick to operate this thing to take this tumor out. But they said, and it made sense to me, your healing is actually quicker because without the old school way was they just cut your stomach open. You got this big scar going across your stomach. So by bringing in this spider-like device, it actually allows the incisions and the wounds to heal more quickly. Now, through those 6 weeks without smoking, I was taking some edibles. And it's funny, the first couple of days I was in a lot of pain and they gave me Oxy. And I took Oxy when I was in the hospital. I took it the first day I was home, but it definitely reinforced why I hate prescription drugs. The side effects were brutal. I didn't even like the high that I got from that medicine. And so I stopped after day 2 when I got home. And I wanted to smoke. I think there was a couple of days, maybe in week 3 or 4, where I took baby hits. But one thing I've found, and everybody that's in the cannabis industry, you'll know this, you're never not working.
Right.
And as I've gotten older and I really am so passionate about this job, I don't really like being high when I'm working. And so, it's just, I think it's sort of like a changing of my life with my age and everything. But I don't like getting high while I'm working, and I don't like getting high right before bed because my brain is always thinking about what I got to do the next day and the different things going on. So my opportunities to enjoy cannabis are less.
Gotcha.
And I know my wife jokes with me now. She's like, I can't believe you got into the cannabis industry. Now you're not smoking. But I still use edibles. I hit the vape cart probably a little more when I am smoking, because when I do smoke flower, I feel like I'm back in high school. I'm just blinded. And so I'm just awesome, I know. It's so funny because that tolerance thing we talked about now, it's like I'm worried about the principal coming behind the stairwell and busting me like happened to me in high school. But no, so I probably have only smoked flower, 2 or 3 times over the last couple of weeks, maybe over a month. So yeah, it's kind of amazing to me too, because and I actually want to smoke more, which is even the funnier thing, but it's just situational.
Timing,
yeah. And definitely everybody who's in the cannabis industry knows that's one of the things. You're never not working.
Exactly.
So you're always responding to somebody's question and some concern that's going on.
And that's there's always a crisis or a fire somewhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing, the pioneer spirit of what cannabis is. We're all pioneers here. There's no manual, there's no rule book of how to do this. Each state's legalization is different, each
Right.
business model is different. So
Yeah.
that's one of the unique things about the cannabis space.
You've got some interesting events coming up.
I do.
Let's
We
talk
do.
about those.
Well, the most exciting thing is our partnership with Ben Wallace. So,
Congratulations on that. By the
thank you
way.
very much.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm super proud of that, because we were not big fans of the idea of a celebrity endorsement kind of thing, because I feel so many of those are not authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for us, it always, everything we do has to be about Michiganders and giving back to this community and being a part of this community. And so, you know, we had been approached by a celebrity cannabis agent group out of California that is like promoting, you know, we'll give you a celebrity if you give us 10% of your royalties. And so that's not what we wanted. And I have a friend who works and owns the Grand Rapids Gold, the G League team out there, the NBA G League team.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben was involved with him as a minority owner and as a general manager. And so I said, you got to get Ben to our grow. I want to show him the place. And so he's like, yeah, I think he'd get a kick out of it. And so Ben came and toured our facility, and we started up a friendship first. And so we were not thinking about the business side of it and developing a brand until after he had been there a couple of times and we had had some interactions with him and became friends with him. But of course, the idea was in my head
Oh yeah.
after I started to become friends with him. And Ben is the king of authentic. You know, he's a great human being, first of all. His character and his commitment to his team as a player, to his family as a family man, and to his friends, you know, it's been something I've been super proud of. And I think he really represents that underdog mentality of Detroit, you know, the Detroit versus everybody, you know,
Right.
kind of thing. And, you know, he was the first player in history of NBA to make it to the Hall of Fame that was undrafted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
breaking news. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. The name of his brand is Undrafted.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're really proud of that.
Okay.
And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on that as well. And I think that's what we want to try and accomplish, you know, and that's why the partnership is so genuine. One, he lives here. He works with the Pistons still.
He has a vested interest.
Yeah. And he's not just a royalties guy. He's an equity partner in his brand.
Right.
So he's part of this ownership. And that was important to us too. And you know, that is something that I think is really important for cannabis. And I think any cannabis consumer will tell you they can see through the, you know, it's just a name on a package.
Right.
And, you know, that why am I going to support that brand? They don't care. You know, it's just doesn't matter to them. But, you know, Ben is very passionate about having an impact on his community here too. So I think that's very natural. And, you know, he exemplifies what we aspire to be as a cannabis company.
What do you think is one of the key components of having an organic partnership that is sustainable?
Well, one, it's about having a quality product. And at the beginning of this, you know, if you don't have a quality product you're putting in the package, it's still not going to work too. We're super proud of the 2 strains that we picked to put in his packages are, you know, because this may be something I disagree with a little bit like you guys, but, you know, the cannabis community is still very driven by THC content. One of them is a 30% tester.
Right.
You know, and it's a cross between Platinum OG and GMO, and we're calling it Block Party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we are incorporating a lot of Ben's themes to the brand and to the name. So, and that's been called Block Party. And the second one is called The Bud Don't Lie.
I love that.
And that's an expression from basketball. The ball don't lie.
Is that Rasheed Wallace that said that? I think that is.
Maybe. I know it's a very common expression now in the NBA and in basketball in general, that if there was a foul that didn't get called, the ball's not going to go in, or you're not going to make your free throws if it was a foul that should not have been called, because the ball don't lie. And that's where it is. Has an incredible terpene profile of gas and fruit. So, and it's got some purple hues in it too.
Okay.
And for me, again, this is all about terpenes, and terpenes really affect that quality of your high so much. And to have that gas and fruit combination in there is a very unique flavor.
I
So
bet it
we're
is.
super excited about both of those. We'll also have pre-rolls, party packs, and a vape cart.
Okay.
And we hope to expand. I think one of our real goals is to create a strain,
Mhm.
but that's a time consuming process.
Right.
We want to make sure it's high quality strain. And so that is certainly on our list of projects for what's coming up. But that's one of the keys to having an organic partnership. And the second is to be real, and that's where I think as cannabis operators in Michigan, without naming names, we've seen companies that are not authentic.
Right.
And I think for us, it's always been about, we are cannabis consumers. We're users. We understand the benefits of how this can impact your life.
Right.
And, being a partner in the communities, being a good neighbor for where we're interacting, both as a grower, a processor, and our retail places. We're trying to be more legit. We're not a billboard company. Now, I'm not saying we won't ever have a billboard, and maybe someday we will. But, like one of the things we did in Muskegon that we're super proud of is we became the exclusive cannabis sponsor of a minor league hockey team, Muskegon Lumberjacks.
Wow.
Yeah, and
that
so-
was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really look for those kind of partnerships in the
Mhm.
communities where we're
Okay.
operating. So we're trying to do some more work with the Saginaw Spirit, a minor league hockey team, and we're going to hit up the Kalamazoo as soon as we get open there too for
Okay.
next hockey season.
Nice.
But also other sports as well. It's important to stay away from anything youth-based because,
Right.
again, we want to be an educational resource to tell people that, this is important to make sure to keep it out of kids' hands until
Mhm.
they're old enough
Mhm.
to understand what they're doing and their brains are fully developed and all that good stuff. But still, partnering up in a more authentic way with those communities is a goal of ours.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you're really trying to define your community impact as well. What does that look like for you? What do you do?
Well, we are really super proud of a woman named Erica Sanford, who started out as a part-time guide with us.
Okay.
And then she became full-time and quickly
What's a guide again?
a bud tender.
Bud tender.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
But she's a rock star. She was already had some involvement with Minorities for Medical Marijuana.
Mhm.
And she used to be a DJ out in Muskegon. And she's an amazing person. And she's become our community outreach coordinator.
Okay.
And we've been participating with a lot of different ways to give back. And we're looking to do more
Mhm.
as we continue to grow, whether it's expungement. I have neglected to say this too long in this interview, but we are one of the unique brands because we have women running every division.
Okay.
So our director of cultivation, processing, and retail ops are all female, women-led.
Mhm.
And that is something that was not by design, I guess, in the beginning, but knowing that diversity in cannabis is certainly very important. And there was too many guys that looked like me
Right.
in positions. So it's something that we want to get more diverse
Okay.
and to have more involvement in that community outreach and dealing. And Erica's already had the ability to participate in Minorities for Medical Marijuana event as a judge. And she's done some work with other, I think it's called the Black and Brown Guild.
Okay.
Cannabis
Yeah.
Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's worked with them. And so that's something we want to just continue to expand our outreach. But we've also done things like the community cleanup.
Mhm.
And with the Saginaw Spirit, we did a fundraiser for the Jaden Lamb Foundation, who was a kid who lost his life to cancer, but trying to create more awareness and
Right.
back to the cancer issue that is so prevalent with cannabis use and how cannabis can help.
Yeah. It definitely can help the betterment of life. And I saw on social media that you guys were selling like hockey jerseys with the Lumberjacks, and I thought that was cool, like the designs. And I feel like Rair has really creative like marketing strategies, like the 2021 Summer Annual. I was a big fan of the pinata filled joints.
I broke the pinata, by the way.
That's fantastic.
It got crazy down there.
Yeah.
It was turned into a war zone.
Well, we're fully committed to doing it again this summer.
Yay.
So, but that was something we wanted to do, and I think that's the right way to do it. And we got a great response from that, and I've had a lot of people. You can't imagine how many people come in and say, "I got your pre-rolls at the MiCIA event," and they said it was really high quality and love your flower and things like that. So it was smart, and it is, again, everything we're talking about is being authentic and being supportive of the industry, and that's why we've always tried to be on the right side of the issue with the caregivers.
Why is it so important for you to be a part of the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association?
Well, I met Robin and Ryan Basor right away when I was building the facility there. So I definitely liked them as people. I think Robin has been an unbelievable advocate, pioneer for cannabis in Michigan. And I constantly am amazed by her.
I know. I equate her to like a beautiful mind. She's like 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah. It's awesome. I try to tell her every time I see her, I think she thinks I'm crazy. It's like, I give her big hugs and I just tell her how proud I am of her and how much I think of her.
Yeah.
But, for me too, I mean, it does go back to the caregiver situation, because I've always felt like not only is it not my job to try and squeeze caregivers or get them removed from the system, I think it's the wrong thing to do.
Right.
And, we want to obviously have a lot of customers and patients coming into our stores to buy these products, but just like the situation with my parents and, anybody who's got a long-term illness has got financial challenges,
right.
And mobility challenges. So, these caregivers are godsends. And I don't care if there's 4 caregivers doing it the wrong way. For that 5th caregiver that is helping save somebody's life, we have to give them the opportunity to be a resource in Michigan. And I think Michigan deserves a ton of credit from back in the day when they started the caregiver program way before a lot of states did. And I think that, everything that's happening now is just about greed. So that's important to us. And I knew that the MiCIA was on the right side of that debate. And so it was clear to me that that's where we wanted to participate and be a part of.
Yeah, we want to keep everything in-house in Michigan.
Well, and any cannabis operator, commercial operator that thinks they need caregivers to go away for their own success has already screwed their business up.
They don't understand exactly what's going on and how caregivers help the system.
Absolutely.
Impact it, yeah.
And it's a very short-sighted view.
It is. Yeah. It is. You've got a couple more events coming up. You've got Reggae on the Riverside.
Yeah. Tell us about the events.
We are excited about that. We actually participated with the Mardi Gras event with Sensi and Jamie Cooper. And then the Reggae by the Riverside is done by Float Presents Mel. And we're super excited. Kamani Marley's performing. There's going to be 6 reggae bands there, and Kamani is the headline act. And we're going to be selling. So we're going to have a retail booth, and we're going to be having Ben Wallace products there. The Undrafted brand will be there. That's April 30th in Ypsilanti. And I think it's an incredible value. It's going to be, a real good awakening to springtime style event. It's actually the same day of Michigan's graduation.
Oh, is it really?
So there could be some parents of
I like how you plan on that one.
Families coming out after the graduation, coming out to see some reggae music. But no, we're super excited about that. I'm a guy who grew up in Washington, D.C. going to see reggae bands all the time. I was a big reggae fan. So I use cannabis, so what do you know?
Right.
But that's coming up, and then we're participating in the Cannabis in Muskegon on July 9th, and we're the exclusive cannabis sponsor. I hope I'm not precluding this. I think it's a done deal, but on the Taste of Muskegon in Muskegon coming up. And we hope to do more. We'd love to host our own event. We're exploring some opportunities to host some cannabis consumption events as well. I love those, not just for having retail opportunities, but just another way to normalize this. And we've all known about people going to get drunk at concerts every single city, every single summer.
Every single concert.
Every single concert. And this is something that should, again, just getting rid of that stigma. I mean, it used to be, I'm a big music fan. I've gone to a ton of live music in my life, and it was always about sneaking the joints in or sneaking the vape card in and not getting busted. And then usually by the end of the night, I was like, screw it. They can kick me out if they want to, because I'm lighting up. But it's funny.
I can't wait for the stigma to switch. I mean, see, shouts outs to Corey from Pyramid, because last year we went to a concert and he lit up something he rolled up and got kicked out immediately. But they were selling alcohol like for like $9 for
Right.
8 ounce of Bud Light or something like
Right.
that. And I'm just like, you're not doing anything to help, basically, and you're just making people more scared to get in, because I was definitely nervous. I didn't even have anything on me, so
Right.
I was more so nervous for him. I'm like, man, I can kind of predict what's going to happen, but like I can't wait for more venues to open up in cities that have recreational ordinances, and just for people to have a safe space and a safe platform. And I like that you have like rooms where your customers can go in and kind of talk, because some people, they want a consultation, they don't even know it, they just come in with
Right.
just an eager mind. And I think that's cool. But one of my questions is, what specific date is the Undrafted drop going to be in stores, and is that going to be exclusive to Rair stores, or is it going to be like all over?
Great question. So we are having the launch party this Sunday night, and then we'll be in our stores on April 1st.
April 1st. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So no April Fool's joke here. It's going to be real. But they are starting out in our stores only. But we are working with some preferred retailers. We do wholesale our cannabis to other retailers throughout the state. This will be a little more exclusive, I think, and so we're going to be very careful. And also wanting those retailers to know that they're not going to have every store in their community will have it.
Right.
It'll be something that'll help draw traffic to their location. But we want to have it in every major area where we're selling, where there's stores already active. So it will be out. I would say it'll be in other stores besides our own before the end of April.
Okay.
So I think April 15th, we're going to start moving it to other preferred retailers. And the Undrafted packaging, I wish I had some of it here, but it'll be available soon.
Okay.
But it's really cool. We're really proud. We paid homage to Ben and his fro
Right.
on the packaging. So it's really fascinating. It's got the headband, and we've got, the Ambassador Bridge in Detroit and the statue from Detroit. And we're really excited about the packaging. We think it's pretty cool. And we'll have some merchandise too.
Nice. It's awesome to see that how it'll hit into the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really different from Rair. Our Rair packaging has all been color coded, again, getting away from that indica and sativa terminology. So for us, red packaging means energy, boosting strains, and blue means relaxing, sleepy time strains.
Okay.
So we've used a color coding for our bags, very straightforward, showing the terpene bar graphs on the labels. But for the Ben Wallace Undrafted brand, we wanted to be much more about making a connection to the community another way, and also having a little more fun with it,
Right.
and having it be a little more cool.
Yeah.
So we really wanted it to be very much 180 degrees different from the Rair, and now we're Undrafted. This is a part of our brand, and we're going to be coming out with a couple of different brands this year. So we've got some exciting stuff with infused pre-rolls and some. Another brand that's called Marley Jane that is going to be more designed towards female products and female consumers.
Nice. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. So we're excited about all of it. And that actually, the irony is our director of processing, Marley Hodson, she is someone who I actually knew personally before coming onto the project. And she was a chemical engineer, being groomed for the pharmaceutical industry, and thankfully we stole her.
Yeah,
Stole her to the cannabis space, which she's been super excited about, and she's an amazingly intelligent person. And she is she's a chemical engineer by trade, but her father was a big Bob Marley fan, and so named her Marley. So she was actually named after Bob Marley.
Oh, that's a neat story.
So full circle.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to say before we close? Any shout outs you want to give, or anything we didn't cover?
No, well, I certainly am super proud of my team, and I think I'm very blessed. The biggest statement I guess I want to make would be, for us, this is definitely about being authentic. And I think for all the money we've spent, all the beautiful equipment and stores and the cultivation facility and all of that aeroponics cool stuff, the Rair is made up of great humans, and I think we're a family. We try to be not corporate, and we care about each other, and we care about the consumers and the patients, and we care about being real. That's the message we're trying to get out there. And the culture of cannabis is something the world needs more of.
Right.
We're huge believers in that. I think cannabis has been a great thing in my life because I've gotten to meet incredible people like you guys. And, that's the thing, everybody's from different backgrounds, different lots in life. And, cannabis is a uniter.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a part of that is what we're all about. And I couldn't be more proud of the people we have working for us. And really, it's so cool because everybody that comes into our facility says that. They said the positive energy in here is incredible. And I had one guy that came in just a couple of weeks ago. He said, "Did you pay your employees to smile?"
Oh my goodness.
I was like, no. He's like, "I've never seen a more happy crew
That's
working at
awesome.
their
It's a real
facility."
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great compliment for him to pay us. And I don't know if he was
Right.
joking or not. I was like, "No, we did not pay them to smile."
No.
He said, "Did somebody pay you to tell me that?"
Yeah.
But
Like one of
positive,
my employees put you up to it.
yeah. But positive energy is one of the great things about cannabis,
It
how
is.
it brings that out in people. And I think positive energy is what this world needs more of, for
Mhm.
sure.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're about.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today.
I thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We're really proud to be a part of your association, and we think you guys are doing great things and
Thank you.
communicating a great message. So that's why we definitely are thrilled to be members.
Absolutely. Well, again, we appreciate it. So this weekend, we do have coming up our Lucky Leaf Expo. One of our members is going around the country putting on an expo, and that is Friday and Saturday at the TFC Center. And then afterwards, we're having an after party at the Anchor Bar. So we hope you're able to join us this weekend.
I hope so too.
Yeah. But if you're interested in getting registered for both, we're putting up the links. There are still tables available, I believe, for the expo, and then RSVP to the after party.
If I could just say one more thing, I
Yes,
forgot, rairco.com, RAIRCO.com.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about us, or our Instagram or Facebook handles is at Rair Systems.
Okay.
And the new Ben Wallace is linked to there, but Ben Wallace's website is bwundrafted.com.
Okay.
So
We will put both
you can
those
learn
up.
more about those.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much.
And we are going to switch over now to our ancillary shout out.
Yes, we have Abaca for the ancillary shout out.
He has been. Abaca's team of experts works hard every day to unlock safe, secure, and stable solutions. With an easy-to-use online dashboard, real-time account access is at your fingertips. Abaca's end-to-end banking, payments, and treasury management is purpose-built for cannabis. With Abaca and our partner financial institutions, go back to taking your bank account for granted. Discover a better way to bank with Abaca. Michigan, visit info.goabaca.com/MiCIA to learn more about our special $99 per month account fee. That's info.goabaca.com/MiCIA.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Next week, we're going to have Ryan from Alvarez joining us, getting to know him and his story. We hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one.